Here we go, Buffs. The portal is heating up as we thought it would. Few more Buffs enter into the portal. 3 have come from the portal to the Buffs thus far in this spring session. Could we see some more? You got to believe so. You got to know so. We're going to be talking all about it. Jerseys being retired, all kinds of great stuff. Plus 2 commits that we haven't had a chance to talk about. We'll talk all about that today. Smash the like button, subscribe. You know what to do. Roll that intro, baby, and let's get right into it. Come on. Good to see you. Happy to have you back again. If you're brand spanking new and you like what you're seeing, smash the like button and subscribe. So Isaiah, he was dismissed or released or however you want to pronounce from the team about a week or so ago, but it's officially he's in the portal as of, I think, the last kind of 24 hours or so. This, to me, isn't that big of a deal. I've always felt that running backs are a dime a dozen, especially in this new age, and this is not take a shot at Isaiah or any other running backs. It's just that's just kind of the name of the game right now. You can kind of find and plug and chug what you're looking for. With Marshall Faulk coming in to the situation, you got to think that he has a particular running back style or just flavor that he's looking to add to this team. For me, I like Isaiah, but he's more, I don't think a one kind of guy. He's more of like a punch guy that you throw in, a very twitchy guy, but never felt that he was your kind of your cowbell back kind of guy. And you got to think of Marshall Faulk with the kind of back that he was. That's what he's going to go after in this portal. And again, if that's a position that is easy to look, not a shot, but it's easy to replace in the world of the portal, in the world of this college football, it's definitely something more likely you can pick up. Now, one that has Buff fans more so in shambles and just kind of upset. And look, for multiple reasons. Love what he was able to produce last year for the Buffs. And this is just the new age of college football. It's tough, man, because you want to buy jerseys, you want to support these guys, but you don't know from which day or when, if they're going to be there or not. And you got to take a lot of these things into consideration. He hits the Buffs, has a breakout year, and you got to take into consideration of people, probing and playing a factor of offering him more money. You also have to take the factor in that we got Missouri transfer edge Jaquil Lang, I believe is how it's pronounced. He'll be visiting coming up here soon. He's 6'4", 6'3", 250 pounds, a little bit bigger frame, a little bit bigger size than Tajay McCoy. So you've got to wonder if that plays a factor in it too, that, hey, we love you, but we're still looking to grow on this. Somebody that's maybe kind of been quietly getting things done also is Quincy Wiggins, LSU transfer from last year. So that room's probably getting thicker in the right kind of ways, getting a little more competitive. And here's what you have to take into consideration. When you're like the Buffs and Coach Prime and your main factor is going after portal guys, your big selling point is you're going to play right away. It's going to be tough for you to find guys that are willing to sit behind somebody because, again, the entire pitch is you're going to come in and be a factor immediately, which he was. But also, too, when you look around, it's like, hey, your ceiling is limited. I've got this guy out here that provided what you can do, but has a bigger ceiling. We're going to give him a chance. That doesn't mean you're losing your spot, but it's going to get a lot tighter. And for somebody that, again, probably left in the first place to come play, that's always going to be a factor. The portal giveth, the portal taketh. That is the name of the game. Again, when your team is 80% function off that, this rotation has to be anticipated. It has to be expected. And you got to kind of get used to it. Again, it sucks. You want to be able to support these guys and rock and roll, but that's how it rolls. And like I said, as it taketh, it giveth. Over this past weekend, 2 committed. That makes 3 in this spring portal cycle. First one being offensive tackle, which I love. Nothing I love more than when you're able to pick up a big-time offensive tackle / guard. He played more guard, I believe, at Memphis. 4-star guy, big-time pickup. Let's take a look at his stats before we talk about the wide receiver here. Here is his PFF grades, which I love. You just see the progress over his years there. An 84 overall grade, 88.4 is pass block, 81.6. Again, played at Memphis in the ACC, played up against, they dominated FSU last year, which I enjoyed watching. So Memphis made some big strides last year. Got the quarterback who Colorado at one point was Antoine Hill, I believe, that Colorado was, again, flirting with. I want to say had to commit. A lot has happened since then, obviously, but they ended up pulling that commit from the Memphis did anyways for that quarterback. So love this pickup here. 6'4", 318 pounds, redshirt junior. Looks to be getting drafted, I believe, in the next cycle. So this is going to be kind of a 1-year plug and chug. But look, that offensive line, although it made progress, you want to see it take another big step this year, especially with this quarterback room. We had Pat Shurmur talk about this quarterback room. He said a dark night for him was Ryan Staub. I think he's just trying to spice everybody up a little bit, but that's going to be something definitely to watch for in the upcoming spring game. this quarterback room. It's going to be fun to see how it all shakes up, how they look, how they're blocking. But love this pickup here on the offensive tackle. And then, of course, Sincere Brown, 6'5", 190. Had 61 catches for 1,000 yards and 12 touchdowns last year at the Campbell Fighting. Let me see here. Campbell's, I believe. Yeah, what a name. What a name for a school. So, again, not necessarily the biggest pickup, to say the least, but played at USF, I believe, as well. So, look, great size, 6'5", 190. Obviously had a big year last year with over 1,000 yards. So, anytime you can add a nice big-time target to this already, I would say, top-tier wide receiver class, you got to love it. So, again, that makes 3 now with the additions to the portal, with 2 leaving essentially in the portal today. But we know the Buffs are going to have some big-time hosts during that spring game, and we also know they love to close. So keep an eyes and ears peeled for that spring game. We'll be talking about that more to come. We're also going to be talking about Coach Prime. We'll have this in another video. Shut down practice today with frustration of how things were going. The other big news that everybody is talking about is the retirement of the 2 jerseys, one being a Travis Hunter, and then, of course, Shedeur Sanders is number 2. And people are having their way with Shedeur Sanders having his jersey retired. Let me tell you, here's my thoughts and opinions. Travis Hunter being a Heisman winner, you got to expect that one, rightfully so. Shedeur Sanders, again, may not hold all the accolades that Travis, well, I say accolades plural, the big one in the sense of a Heisman, but definitely was a Heisman favorite, was part of, I would say, this resurgence for the Colorado Buffs, right? You can't take that away from him. Took Colorado to a fantastic year last year. Obviously, the year prior wasn't the greatest. I understand where these things are coming from, and I also understand where it's coming from that say, hey, this is just dad's son, and he's getting a nod to it. It is what it is. Get over it. 10 years, 15 years from now, look, Buff fans will look back on this time and say, yeah, those 2 guys were part of something special. They are part of a special time and a special era, and we appreciate what they were able to do. Look, should it be retired? That's it's weird nowadays to even see college teams retiring jerseys. I don't think that we'll probably ever see it just because of the transfer portal. It's going to be very rare anyway. So when we think about past players who've had their jerseys retired, obviously you've got a 4-year career more than likely. You've accomplished certain things during those times. You're not going to have that. So if you want to retire a jersey and have those things, your caveat or reasons are going to be different. Again, we're not the coach. It's not our call. I'm sure Buff fans, but I know Buff fans, I've seen their reaction. They love it. What Shedeur and what Travis did for Colorado, what those 2 guys did, and the entire team, but what those 2 did in bringing football back to a level that it hasn't been to, they love those guys. They cherish those guys, and I don't see an issue with it in my eyes. So again, other schools, other reasons of why they should retire certain jerseys. They've got more accolades. They've got more of a history, I would say, over a long period of time. Again, the Buffs have it, but it kind of comes ups and flows. So I don't mind it. I think it's cool. Shout out to both of them for having their jerseys hanging up in the rafters. I think that'll be happening during the spring game. So let me know in the comment section. I'm sure I'll get dragged for my opinion on this one. I've already talked to people about it. I don't really get too worked up about these kind of things. I think it's cool. Again, you could argue for anybody on those side of things, but all in all good stuff. Smash the like button, subscribe, get back rocking and rolling here. Hope you guys enjoy the content. Again, let me know how you're feeling about these pickups, these portal moves. Where do you think the Buffs head next? Love to hear from you. We'll see you on the next one. Peace and love, baby.